Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depending on where you're watching this from. I thought I'd take today and make a short little video with all the quarantine and the coronavirus outbreak. I figured what else to do but post a video for my Endless Horizons hunting channel and post it for some fine subscribers. So today, what I wanted to talk about, being that I can actually make some noise out in the woods for the first time, I wanted to show you my new setup. It's actually in my woods right behind the EH compound here in Southington, Ohio. Well, that's really all I can say about that location. Anyhow, very seldomly do I hunt back here because it's kind of a sanctuary and a bedding area. There's a lot of ag fields in this area, and the woods are kind of, I don't know, 5-10 acres deep, but they're kind of narrowed. So a lot of the deer funnel around this location. So I try to keep out of here for those reasons, but this year I've noticed a lot of buck activity. During the Ohio shotgun season, I finally went back here and hunted. Probably the first time I really hunted back here in a couple years, and to my surprise I saw a lot of buck activity. I hunted a mature buck 2 days of that season, and that week got definitely within slug range of him. But I basically got busted, so it's very thick back here. If you take a look, very thick. So if you're ground hunting, it's tough. But anyhow, enough of that. I thought I'd show you this little area I've cleared out. This little area right here. You can see an old stand right here. Obviously that's out of commission, and that'll be torn down here very shortly and recycled. But probably going to pitch a lone wolf right here, or in this tree here. A lot of the deer funnel from way back in here, several miles deep. Well, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, a mile and a half deep back there. It's a large ag field out back here. The bucks like to travel right through here, right up to where I'm standing actually. And then they go, well, I'll take you a walk. I'll take a walk back here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Pretty interesting where and why I've set this stand in its location. See if I can take you for a walk here. And again, there's my tree, probably right there, one of those two. I'm going to take you, if I can, if I don't fall, I'm going to take you to this funnel where these bucks have been bedding, right here in front. Let's see that nice old rub. And let's see how new it was. As you can see, there's some fresh shavings. That's fairly fresh. You experts out there can tell me. Obviously, I had nipped these off to clear. But let's see if I can walk through here. Actually, instead of boring you, I'm just going to pause this for a second, and I'll get back into this thick bedding where these bucks are laying, and we'll walk back, backwards, and then I'll start filming again. So take a break, get some coffee, a nice frosty beverage, whatever, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back at you guys, boys and girls, whoever's watching. Again, we're on the back side of that little clearing that I have open, where I was showing you that stand location. So I'm going to walk you backwards to the buck lair, and kind of, if you could bear with me for a few minutes, sit back, grab yourself a cup of coffee, frosted beverage, whatever your choice of drink is, and I'm going to walk you through this scenario, why I believe this is a really good area, and I'm going to walk you right into the buck lair. So here we go, take a walk with me. If you notice here, notice how this ground's been tilled up by the deer. Also, it could be turkey, but if you notice, a lot of fresh sprouts. This is what they're going after, and this stuff's growing back. Right now it's the 18th. Yes, the 18th. So you're only a few days away from spring. So these deer are back here, pretty active. I'm going to say this, what we're looking at here is probably 24 hours old. That's why those sprouts are regrowing so fast. There's more bedding. I'm going to assume that's a doe. Kind of a wet area, but at times it's dry. So, okay, we're headed back to that buck lair I was explaining to you about. Again, you can see the heavy traffic. I'll follow it with my hand right there, and then right to that stand. Like I say, the deer, the bucks mainly, head way back in there. It's a mile and a half or so woods, large ag field back here. So as most of you experienced hunters know, or if you don't have the experience, this might be a good lesson. I'm actually, the EH compound's out there, got a 1.5 acre lake out there with a good handful of 100-year-old white red oak trees, so the oaks are very plentiful. A lot of the does and the bucks hop over there from this sanctuary and get their water, and as you know, they love those oaks. But my point is, you can even see a house through there. It's a neighboring house, good ways out back there. There's a road, I don't know, just gonna take a guess, 300 yards that way. Again, for those who don't know or those that do, it's okay. A lot of these mature bucks, as you know, they're gonna bed where there's no humans, no push, no disturbance. And a lot of times you'd be surprised. You hear a lot of guys saying, you know, they park their truck at a public hunting area and they could just be 40 yards from the truck, right by the road, in some thick cover that's overlooked. So that's kind of what we're looking at right here. So continue with me if you would. You can see this path. I walked through here earlier, so you might see some larger footprints. Those are from me. And I'll start to show you guys some old sign and new signs, and we can talk about the differences. Again, here's those browse. This is fresh. This is real fresh. They were just back here. One, you know, that buck was probably just back here. I can tell by his hoof prints. He was back here. You can see the height of some of this stuff that's been nipped off. I'm 6'2", just shy of 6'2". So this is chest high. So it's a pretty good sized deer. Okay. Now you can see all this is all tore up. You see how thick this is? You can almost see a hole. You just look back. See that hole? That's a travel corridor. And this is where he travels from. Now I'm gonna look and find some scrapes for everybody, and maybe we can get a quick lesson. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Or I'm sorry. Here's a nice rub. Here's an example. Here's a nice rub. I shouldn't be touching it. You can see how fresh this is. And another way to tell if it's fresh, for those of you that don't know, see these? Look at these shavings. Look at that. That's fresh. That's very fresh. And again, here's where he started to rub here and didn't get too excited. But again, he was feeding. There's those little sprouts I was telling you about. So there's a quick lesson on trying to gauge how old your rubs may or may not be. So if we travel back here just a little bit further, and again, thank you for bearing with me, hanging in here. Again, here's another rub. Kind of a shredded rub, not real big or exciting. He was probably feeding and just rubbing his antlers. Not sure if they fell off yet. They should have, but you'd be surprised. So also too, I wanted to show you this. I'm making a lot of noise, but take a look at this. This is what I like to refer to as a community rub. You can tell by the size. Obviously it's old, probably October, you know, right when the pre-rut was ramping up. Again, you can tell my height. I'm a pretty, you know, again, I'm all of 6'1" and some change. It's right there. That's a pretty good size rub. And so you come through here, you see more browse they've been nipping off. There's just scrapes and rubs, just plentiful back here. And I was back here ground hunting during late season in white camo, and I came across some really good signs, and I set up back here, and I saw this buck 2 times during gun season. And like I said earlier, I got busted, so I couldn't get a shot at him, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what hunting's all about. We both lived to share the experience again. So here's what I set up on last fall. He was buried. I mean, he was bedded right here. Yeah, he was bedded right here. And you see again, he's been actively like a food scrape, you know, scraping for some fresh browse, roots, whatever. But see here how this is shredded. Obviously this is old, you know, from the season I was telling you. But see how that's real finely shredded, in my opinion. And it sat low. He was probably bedded here, although I don't know if he would make that would be real uncomfortable. But in my experience, this is when they make these low and really rub these plentiful. That's why they get so fine when they're bedded, not when they're standing up. And here, this is also very old, you know, older. This isn't as worked, finely shredded. So he was probably rubbing this right before he bedded down here. Not sure. Again, I'm no expert, but I have been archery hunting since 1983. That doesn't make me an expert, that's for sure. From the words of Neil Peart, master is a student for life. Don't ever forget that. So here you can see some deer sign. Don't know, couldn't really age that. It's a few days anyhow. We got ourselves some little coons. So anyhow, that's about it from Endless Horizons. You can, well, real quick, you can see the telemetry before I sign off. Just like I said, it's a really thick area, really hard to hang and hunt. This is a situation where you do your surveillance set up way ahead of time, and ground blind, tree stand, whatever. Maybe I'll probably hunt this during late October, maybe around get a good rainy, drizzly, dark day right around Halloween. And I think this is going to set up really nicely. So I want to thank everybody for spending some time with me. And during these scary times with the coronavirus going on, it seems like the world's in a serious lockdown, a lot of panic. Again, don't hoard, man. There's enough food for everybody. Make sure that the elderly and the children can get their share first. Obviously I'm doing well. So anyhow, again, I'd like to thank everybody for your time. Hopefully I'll have some turkey videos, probably back in this location. So again, I want to thank everybody for subscribing and liking and leaving comments on my channel. It means a lot to me. I'm going to do my best this year to try and get some better filming, a little better editing and so forth. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want this editing and videoing to take away from my hunting. That's so important to me. Hunt first, video and editing second. But I'd like to be able to capture some things to share with some hunters, and maybe if you just walk away with one little piece of knowledge, or maybe you can watch one of my videos and tell me what I'm doing wrong, and so we can learn together. Again, take care of the elders, take care of your kids if you got them, and always remember, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. So we're signing off from Endless Horizons, and as always, peace and love.